What's it doing?
It says it's live.
Are we?
Yeah. Well, it says so on the corner right there. Live on Facebook.
I'm still waiting for the page to load up. We might be. Okay, yes, we are live. What's up, virtually limitless entrepreneurs of Facebook? This is Trey Carmichael with Carmichael Business Solutions here with Kim Dong. Go ahead and tell us about what you do and why you do it, Kim.
Hey, everyone. I help entrepreneurs make monthly reoccurring income online with simple softwares. So what simple softwares mean is you have your own app or your own Chrome extension or your own software that you provide. Yep, that's part of what I do. I also do affiliate marketing as well. And I also have my own softwares as well. So I do what I teach.
Awesome. What are some of your softwares?
One software that's the most popular one you might have heard of is called Group Convert. Group Convert will get the answers that people voluntarily give when they enter a closed Facebook group. You know how the 3 questions, you can ask 3 questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so one of the questions can be, what's your email for that freebie, whatever freebie you entered the group to get? And the people entering the group will give you their email address. Now, traditionally, people go and copy and paste that email address into a Google document or an Excel sheet, and then they upload it to their email autoresponder or wherever they upload it. So now with the Chrome extension Group Convert, which you can find at groupconvert.com, you can actually get all the answers to those questions automatically sent to your email autoresponder using Zapier. So it's a one-click process.
Wow, that's super convenient. Can you tell us more about how you help people develop their own softwares?
Yes, so I've created this Chrome Boss blueprint that lets you figure out what to make, find a reliable idea, and then be able to bring your idea from idea to creation to publishing and then to marketing. So you bring your idea to life. And
awesome.
yeah, and in the space the container that I created, we have a group of developers to help you out, as well as a sales copywriter guy, as his name is Victor, as well as a mental coach is in my program. That's he himself has like 71,000 subscribers on YouTube, been doing mental hypnotism for 10 years. So all these people work in conjunction together to give you the success of idea to launching.
Awesome. So you've got it all covered.
Not every single thing covered, but I've brought together components to make sure that there's not a huge risk in you coming into the program and not finding out what you want to do, or the risk of failure.
That's awesome, and that's all passive income with the software, isn't it?
Yes, it's passive income software. So each of the software I created and have published, they've all profited immediately. And what ends up happening is I built in monthly recurring costs to each of them. So I have people paying anywhere from $2 a month for this software to $7 to $10 to $12 to $97 to $127 to $297 for all types of monthly pricing. And I have customers from all areas of that spectrum.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you learned doing e-commerce?
So e-commerce is something completely different than providing software online. With e-commerce, I found that I have to do a lot of supplier negotiations. I have to pay for a lot of overhead costs, which I still do. I do e-commerce till today because it pays pretty well as well. And I have to keep track of inventory. I have to keep track of a lot more expenses, like 7 or 8 more expenses than I would worry about with software. And with software, it has the ability to scale much faster than my e-commerce, simply because with e-commerce, I have to put in a lot of cash in order to gain that inventory and then be able to sell and profit from that inventory.
Yeah. How do you feel about drop shipping?
Drop shipping is, if you learn how to do high ticket drop shipping, it's totally worth it. And you will be able to do really well. There's another form of drop shipping, which isn't true drop shipping, but you don't touch the stuff. It's called print on demand. And with print on demand, it's I have friends who have print on demand stores that does 8,000 a month with cost around 2,000 a month. And so it's still pretty steady set of income. And a long time ago, eBay used to be really against drop shipping, but now they're more open to it. And a lot of things were really against drop shipping, but now the whole community of drop shipping has expanded and exploded to like this thing that you can do, that you can earn income from, even if you don't ever touch the inventory.
That's awesome. What are some of the most common things that you're seeing in e-commerce that people are kind of making mistakes on?
In e-commerce. So is this interview mostly about e-commerce, or what is it?
Just kind of in general, all about what you do and
Oh,
any of
okay.
it.
I'm not so actively pursuing e-commerce, but it is something that I do. What I learned from, what was the question again?
Just some of the things that you've seen people mess up a lot at going into e-commerce.
Oh, mess up a lot. Okay. I feel like with anything, if you're messing up when you're going into a venture, it's because you were afraid to invest in yourself. And that fear kind of cripples you. So here's what I've seen with e-commerce. They would go and they think success is buying like a few $100s of inventory and then selling like $10, $20 and then giving up, or buying $500 of inventory and selling just a few of it and not marketing it correctly, not presenting it well, not having good customer service behind it so that people keep coming back. And then that's a failure because they tried it. But the similar to that, but in the realm of other things like app world, if you go into the app world and then you blow a lot of money on an app that you didn't do any market research on, you just thought that if you build it, they will come and then they will go and buy your stuff. It's the same realm of mistakes. Mistakes is thinking that your effort is good enough when you are unaware of how much real effort it takes to succeed. Like the people who are successful, the struggle is still there, but it's more effortless because they just go through barriers after barriers as if it's expected. And for the people who make the actual mistakes and quit are those who don't even realize that there are all these steps and all these barriers, and they think that it's like a more easy road to the top, and they think that their effort should be like this much for success when their effort is like needs to be this much all the way to the roof for actual success. So the mistakes I've seen is people don't know what they don't know. And instead of going out and figuring out what they don't know about it, they just look at what they know, work within what they know, and then give up because they don't see the money rolling in. That's the mistakes I see.
There's a lot of people teaching that though, that you're gonna make $1 million in 30 days, you're gonna have a successful business in 30 days, stuff like it's so common.
I actually haven't seen a lot of, I don't think I'm as exposed to that world because I've only started wading into it by being a creator versus a consumer. When I started creating, like creating my program, creating, the community around my program and stuff like that, or community around my little apps, I found that um, that I've only I only consume what I need in that next step. So I'm not flooded by all these fake people doing all these fake things. Um, the only time I feel like something is fake is when I myself suck at giving it my best shot. Like I remember I did this program where it was like a email list building program. It cost $2,000 and I barely did the homework. I barely watched a few modules and then I gave up on it. And this was a while ago. This was like years ago when I heard of this woman named Amy Porterfield. She has this list builder lab program. And in my head back then, I thought it was a scam because I'm like, oh, she took my money and I didn't even build a list. And I don't even have many people on my list that I built. And so I'm like, that's fake. But honestly, as I become a creator and I'm creating stuff and I'm going through that process, it takes so much work and dedication and effort for anyone to have a program out there and to talk about it, tell people about it, build it up. It takes so much blood, sweat, and tears that I feel like that fakeness. I mean, this is not talking about the people who try to outright scam people. I'm talking about the people, for the most part, that feeling of fakeness comes from really just not putting in the right effort and then quitting and then like having those negative thoughts about it. And I don't see a lot of programs that promise that you'll make like $1 million in a year.
That's a little extravagant. Most of them don't promise that, but I see a lot of they get to 10K and 10K a month in 30 days. I see that a lot more often.
Get to 10K in 30 days. Okay, here's my perspective about that. When I joined a mastermind that is like quite expensive, I forgot if it was $25,000 or $30,000 mastermind, but it was I joined a mastermind, and it says that you're going to make you're going to sell $10,000 within like a month or within 90 days or something. You're going to make money. And so I thought of that and I'm like, oh, wow, that sounds insane, from the outside looking in. But then I've actually joined a mastermind recently that is from Alex Moscow, and his mastermind is saying that you learn the sales technique to be able to sell $20,000 packages, $10,000 packages. And since joining, I was able to do that. So for someone to say, oh, you can make $10,000 that month, yeah, I just need to make one sale at $10,000. Then I make $10,000 that month. So if your life is primed to a point where you are mentally almost there and then you join something that takes you there, then easily you can be there. Easily you can make $10,000 a month. It's not hard. The people in my program are selling $20,000 packages that are paid in full the same day. Like they're getting $20,000 one day. 20,000, 10,000, 15,000. It's not difficult in their world. And for me to enter that space, it's not that difficult. And so it doesn't feel scammy to me, and it isn't. So, but for, let's say you have absolutely nothing going on and you literally go from no knowledge of the internet or like of the online space, and you're working blue collar job where it's really hard for you to even see outside of your world. And then you take this program, it's going to be really, really hard for you to even conceptualize making 10,000 a day, right? So it's like, it's going to be harder, but does that mean that it's impossible? No. But does that mean that also you might feel like it's a scam? Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be easier for you to feel scammy about it. And your attitude will dictate your success 100%. So if you come in feeling scammy about it, it's not going to work for you. You know, if you come in going, you know, I can do this, this is totally there, I see the steps, I see what I have to do, I'm just going to do it, I'll trust the process, I'll trust what they teach, and I follow them, then yeah, then you can make 10,000 in a day, or you can make $20,000 that month.
Wow.
That's my belief, that's my experience, and I absolutely stand by that.
It's definitely in what you can believe in, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of interviews with some pretty impressive people who are doing a lot of really cool stuff. What are some of the wow. What are some of the most valuable things that they've taught you?
That doing stuff imperfectly is better than staying still. So you could have broken landing pages, things not all together, nothing is perfect, but you will be light years ahead of the person that like pines and like plans and has all the things recorded, have all the steps, and then they never launch. So the biggest lesson I've learned from talking to all these successful people is that sometimes they just freaking wing it. And it works. And when they wing it, that doesn't mean they have like bad intentions. That doesn't mean that they're selling like stuff they don't have. Actually, some of them do sell stuff they don't have, but they're very transparent about it. They're like, I'm selling it this program. I haven't created it yet, but I'm gonna create it with you as the beta testers, and that works too. But yeah, like I actually met some high ticket salespeople who just like pitch their $10,000 program that they have nothing built out, and you know, it's just, you don't know what you don't know. But if you talk to a lot of people, you talk to the successful people, they'll tell you, Kim, like, we don't know how to do stuff either. Like I don't know. I met so many people who've made millions online, and they don't know how to like click on this button, or, you know, they don't know how to run a Facebook ad. They don't know all these other things. And I'm like, how do you even succeed? It's because they just freaking just do it. They just do it imperfectly. They're not perfect, but they get success because they just are just a few steps ahead of you, even if their steps are like built upon like broken piles of wood, you know, like they're still up there, you know? So that gives me a lot of hope. It shows me a world where you don't have to be perfect to succeed. And that is very hopeful world.
Absolutely. That's a big thing for a lot of people. Most people can't see that.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of people actually. I talk to people outside the internet world, and then I talk to people who are like adventurers out there. I talk to nurses, engineers. I talk to a bunch of people, and what I've discovered is that if you're in this system where you're working every single day, you get very comfortable in that system. And you grow up and there's all this programming that happens. Like you look at a light, it's red, right? How do you know instinctively that you have to stop? Because you're like so programmed. So as with the red light and the yellow light that comes like this, like your instinct is like that. It is the same for income relating to value. It is the same for, you know, your worth, tying your worth to all these things, like to what your boss thinks, to how much you're making this year, how much you're going to make next year. All that programming is built into us as we're growing up. And for the people that are really successful online, they've deprogrammed themselves. they've stepped outside, and they can have like $1 million weeks. They can have all the things that feel scammy to, people who've never touched it, but because they've been so programmed. So if you can start journeying towards getting deprogrammed, and to do that, start talking to a lot of people, because then you'll realize, wow, the world is so different. There's so many different people. They have success on so many different levels that you can't even comprehend, that you realize, the realization is that you can make your life however you want it. And that all this programming that happens, you can just shed it like, dead skin, a snake coming out, you can. But if you don't meet people, you don't get out there, you don't talk to others, you're just in your same schedule day in and day out, you'll feel like this woman, she told me, she's like, I got laid off after 35 years at my job. And she has a corporate job, so she gets paid really well after 35 years. And she's like, at my job, I didn't even think outside. I didn't even think to breathe, to escape. I was happy with my job. I kept doing my job. But when they laid her off, it made her feel like she just walked outside of a jail cell, for the first time, and breathing fresh air and looking around in the world. She's like, I've never even thought to look outside my box. And that makes me feel like there are so many versions of a life and so many different people. You could have someone super successful financially and still feel like they're just escaping jail, You could have people who are like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going off on a rant, but it makes me feel like you really don't know what you don't know. You need to talk to as many people out there as possible. You need to get out there, go to live events, talk to people like this, on Zoom, and learn their stories. Once you learn other people's lives, you begin to realize that your reality is totally not what it is, that you've been so programmed into this mental space that have kept you there and kept you happy for a long time. And you don't even know what's out there. And so my lesson is, go out there, talk to people. It's going to surprise you. But yeah, that's all. I feel like I'm continue ranting and raving, but that's a big lesson that I think.
That is a very big lesson, and a lot of people need to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, what are some of your absolute favorite marketing tools that you just could not live without?
Email, automation. I feel like I can live without all these tools, actually, because I used to go camping every single week, and I was just a desert rat. I went rock climbing a lot. And I was really disconnected with the internet and the world that way. I was up in the mountains a lot. But the things that I feel like I think your question would be, what's the basic necessity of what you have to have if you were to make money online? And on the very basic level, it includes only 5 components. You need to have a domain name. So that you can have a brand for yourself. You can't be like wordpress.kim.com, Need to have a domain name. That's around $10 a year. You need to have hosting. Hosting can be anywhere from $15 a month to $20 to $25, all the way on up. But hosting is where you store all your files, and you need to have your domain and hosting connected. You need to have a way to talk to your audience. So you need to have an email autoresponder, and that could be anything from ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, any one of those. And then you need to have a way to track your progress. So any kind of short link tracker that tracks how many clicks you get, how many conversions. And with the tracking, I'm also talking about like tracking audience. Like you need to have a Facebook pixel along with the short link tracker. And pixels can be connected to your link tracker as well these days, so it's good. And then let's see what else. You need to learn how to send traffic to your thing. So whether it's SEO or whether it's solo ads, whether it's creating YouTube videos so that people will watch and click on your link, whatever ways of traffic, learn just traffic in general. There's paid traffic, there's organic traffic, but learn types of traffic. So you can at least send people to your landing page. How we get paid online these days is, here's my page for you to pay me, go there and pay me. So, in the long-winded area of it, it's like, okay, you hear about me through this email, you watch my YouTube video, you listen to me in an interview, and then you finally get a hold of me, or you finally go to my page and you buy from me. But really, it's just, here's a place you can pay me, buy from me, or if you click on something on this page, I'm going to get paid. So it's like, pay me directly or pay me indirectly, but I'm getting paid. For you to actually have something to be paid where it sits there for a while, you need to create that environment. So I think the environment can exist on many levels, right? Like YouTube, you can get paid. Your own website, you can get paid. But in any case, it's more like, what are the components that you absolutely need for you to have an existing online thing where people pay you? And I feel like at the very bare necessity level, that's what you need.
Awesome. That's really valuable information. So you went to UCLA and you got a business degree, but you feel like you learned more online, right?
Yeah, because UCLA has a lot of classes where they teach like theoretical stuff like math. A lot of it is math related. I learned a lot of math equations about like predicting, like the trajectory of certain markets. And it makes me feel like after I graduated, I looked at none of that. The only thing that was super helpful is one of my accountant teachers. She's like, do you know when you should start investing in your retirement fund? She's like, yesterday. And she told us about compound interest. And I think that was very important. Other than that, there was a lot of, there was one taxes class that was very important. So taxes was important. And the fact that there's compound interest and you need to start investing is important. Other than that, there were a lot of theoretical classes that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to use this unless I get a PhD in economics,
If you could do it again, would you go to college still?
No, I would not.
No.
I would absolutely not go to college. I'm not going to spend all that money to have 2-3 worthwhile classes. but it has, I mean, I can't do it. I can't go back in time, of course. So
of course.
I don't regret it. I mean, it happened. I don't have regrets for my college education because it has shaped me into the type of person I am today. But if I were to do it again, no, I would definitely go into making my own apps for sure. No question.
If somebody was trying to go into starting their own business, working online, and they were talking about going to school, you'd probably advise against it?
No, I would advise against it if what they really want with their life doesn't align with that. So if they're like, I want to become a surgeon, I would say go to school. If they said, I want to make money, because surgeons make money online. I mean, other people make money online. If their sole purpose is to just financially be free and they don't care about it tying to other things, like they don't want to become a doctor or they don't want to become something, then I would say, yeah, college isn't for you. Just start looking into how to make money online, because that's how I started. I type how to make money online. But if they were to talk to me directly and I'm their, friend, I would say join my program and make money, recurring money with little softwares. I would absolutely recommend that to them. And in fact, some of my friends did join my program. At first, I was reluctant because I was finding my voice. You know, when you first are online, you're like trying to figure out what message you even want to have or who are you. But when I started like just traveling the path of trying to find out who I am, and then I hone in little by little. I have friends talking to me because, like I told you, I used to be offline and just desert rat. Literally, if you see my Facebook profile, you scroll down like past the last year, past just 7 months ago, you just have pictures of me going camping all the time. And so it's a very drastic change. But my friends saw that change because they're part of that world. So they're like, Kim, what are you trying to do over here? Like, who are you? Why are you doing all these lives? But now they're like, holy shit, you're actually doing really well. Oh my God, you have the lifestyle I want to have, or you have, you know, you're helping other people get what they want, and I want a piece of that. So I don't feel, at first I felt weird about it, but now I'm like, join my program. Now I'm very confident. I'm like, get into my program. Oh, you tired of your boss, you know, treating you like dirt? Get into my program. Stuff like that. Yeah, I am pretty shameless about that now because I feel like it's a better thing for them than suffering for the next years, you know?
That's a good thing. When you've got something you believe in, you almost have an obligation to get it in front of as many people as possible.
I agree. And that's why people, I feel like Gary Vee or all these Tai Lopez people, they never get tired of talking about their message, and they never get tired of talking about when they were like broke or, you know, suffering. It's because they honestly want to impact as many people as possible. They don't feel the need to be silent about it anymore. And I'm beginning to feel bits of that. I'm not like, I want to influence 1 billion people. I'm not there yet, but I'm more like, I went from, I don't think my friends should be bothered by this, to they have to hear it, you know, like they have to hear what I have to say at least once, and then they can decide to go on their merry way if they choose not to, you know. But yeah, it feels like an obligation at this point.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
What tips do you have with kind of getting in touch with that message?
Getting in touch with the message of what message? What message?
Of your, like, when you were working to get in touch with your message and what you were trying to communicate with people, how did you get in touch with that?
By trusting that things will work out and just not being a paranoid person. I think that, let me go into that because I feel like that's kind of vague. But, you know, let's say you're a paranoid person, right? You are going about your day like you're always paranoid. You're like, that's a scam. Oh, that won't work. Oh, you know, those people don't know what they're talking about. And that's how you live your life. Then it's going to be hard for you to succeed because you just don't trust anything. So for me, I have a different approach to it. I'm like, even if I fall flat on my face, I feel like these people didn't spend their hard-earned money, sweat, and tears creating these programs for you to learn, for you to fail. Like, I feel like, okay, there's a really cool story. There's a story I want to tell you. I was at a meeting where people paid $3,000 to be in the room. Everyone paid $3,000. There was a guy sitting next to me, and he was like, you know, I spent $3,000, but if all I got from this was just time to think and to be able to write out my program, just that empty space to think, that makes it all worth it for me. I don't even need to. He's like, all the things I'm being taught today at this workshop is extra because I carved out this space of time for myself. And to me, I'm like, wow, that's a very different perspective than someone who's like, I paid $3,000. I deserve to have my money's worth it at this event. You know, it's a different mindset. So for me, I feel like it's easier for me to succeed if I look at it in the perspective that things will work out. If I invest in something, I trust that I am a person with good judgment, and I trust that the program will work out. And when I approach anything that way, even if there's failure, I've learned something. I've learned something that will take me to the next level. And if I'm paranoid about everything, I feel like things won't work out, I feel like it's going to be a waste of money, it's going to be a waste of time, I'm going to self-fulfill my own prophecy. And so I feel like a big part of success is to say, hey, things will work out. Trust that you will make good decisions. Trust that this program is good. And it usually ends up working that way. So yeah, that's what I mean by not being paranoid.
That's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. If you were gonna get started in making money online, affiliate marketing, or any of that today, where do you think you'd start?
I would definitely start with software. If I were to do that all over again, because software facilitates affiliate marketing. Software,
Absolutely, definitely.
yeah, software brings in everything together. You can make software with affiliates selling your software. You could have affiliate commissions from talking to other people with software and just telling your audience about it. But definitely the biggest thing I see out there right now that will give you reliable reoccurring income is software, your own software. Yeah, because I was speaking to someone earlier and he was saying that he was making quite a bit running Google ads to the ClickFunnels keyword until they took it away. And he was talking to me about my program because he's like, yeah, like they just took it away. And the one thing that worked for me, giving me income, they just said, nope, we closed that off. And so, yeah. So if you have your own software, no one can take that away from you.
Absolutely, they cannot take that away from you.
Yeah.
What kind of mindset tips are you using to stay motivated on a regular basis?
It took me a long time to get to this, and that's not without investing in myself for things like, like retreats or like even what is it called? Vacation. I would say that's an investment, and therapy. So I come to this self-motivation from the result of working on myself already, right? I have to work on myself to be happy, to be able to move forward. And for me, I strongly believe in positive energy pulling you forward. And for me, a lot of motivation comes from me putting something out there and saying, hey guys, I'm going to do this. And instead of having like negative energy, which is having your back against the wall, being financially strapped, like having all these negative motivations motivate you, it's more like, hey, these group of people are expecting me to succeed, are expecting me to deliver, are expecting me to help them. So they're pulling me forward. So if I get pulled forward, it's like positive daily motivation that won't die, because they're pulling me forward with them. But if it's like my back against the wall, then I might say, oh man, this is too tough. I should just go and get a job over here. Like I would not be as self-motivated if I let a lot of the motivation be negative motivation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you just got to focus on the positive.
Focus on the positive. True, but letting motivation be a pulling factor than a pushing factor.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is gonna be my last question for you today, actually.
Okay.
If you could go back to before working for yourself and talk and just have a conversation with yourself, what would you make sure that you knew and understood?
Um, if I were to have a conversation with my past self, I would tell my past self to invest in coaching and invest in a program where I'm constantly surrounded by people who are playing bigger than me. I think that's the number one thing I would tell myself. I would say, don't go to college, you don't need it. Go and start investing in this program because they play at a massively higher level than you, and you need to be around those people. Because even when I was small, I remember I had like, when I was in elementary, I was surrounded by students that didn't do homework. So I got a bunch of F's and D's at one point. And my teacher knew I was smart. So he was like, Kim, what are you doing with your life? And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, why is he questioning me about my life? Like, I'm just a kid. And so, but it made sense that what he did was he pulled me out of that environment and he placed me in like the smart classes, even though I didn't test into any of those. And then I started getting straight A's. I went from straight D's and F's to straight A's within 1 year, like one switch automatically, because everyone around me was like killing it. They were doing their homework, they were volunteering, they were doing all the things. And, you know, I fell into that too. So I know, as much as it might be like a flaw in me, it's also my strength. And I need to surround myself with the right people for me to flourish. So masterminds, group coaching, all these programs and containers are really important to my own growth. And that's why I created my own space to help others grow in a specific manner, like app wise. But it makes me all the more motivated to believe in that. And that's what I would definitely tell a younger version of myself.
That's awesome. I definitely would not call that a flaw, though. Everybody has their strengths, and everybody's strengths are going to complement somebody else's strengths.
Thanks, Trey.
Yeah, that's about the farthest thing from a flaw. Everybody's got that. Well, thank you so much for your time, Kim.
No problem, Trey. It was fun to show up and talk to you and your people.
Absolutely. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. I'll be interviewing Jason Thomas on Wednesday about credit card processing and merchant accounts. Everybody tune in for that one.
All
Thank you,
right.
Kim.
Bye. Have a great day.